How's it going, everyone? Liam Catterson here. This is episode number 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 3, which is called Dead Man's Party. And I'm really excited, especially with how the last episode ended off with Buffy returning home after we saw during the last episode what she's been up to since she left Sunnydale after the ending of Season 2. So it will be very interesting to see how Buffy does respond to Giles, to Joyce as well, to everyone. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm also trying out a new microphone setting because hopefully this gives a bit more diction clarity. Yeah. So I'm testing that one out as well today. But yeah, I'm really excited. So why don't we just delve right into this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's go.
I was until that 4-course snack you served me after dinner.
4-course?
Well then, you know, why don't I drive?
What? I'm not. I would be complaining.
Mom, if you don't want me to go, just say so.
No.
Being very protective.
I just want to put this whole thing behind us, get back to normal. You go. Have a good time.
Okay.
Can't blame her with her state of mind these last few months, I believe.
Didn't anyone ever warn you about playing with pointy sticks? It's all fun and games until somebody loses
Xander.
You shouldn't sneak up on people like that. Jeez, Buff.
Ah! She just gave Buffy the lecture about not sneaking up on people. Follow suit.
Come in, Nighthawk. Everything okay?
Nighthawk?
Hey, Buffy.
Let the professionals handle it, but he's also okay after that kick.
Hey, guys.
Check it out. The watch is back on the clock. And just when you were thinking career change, maybe becoming a looker or a seer.
Xander, don't ruin the moment.
Welcome home, Buffy.
I got in a few hours ago, but I went to go hardly.
Oh, okay, I lied a little old, lots of milk.
Well, that's good, isn't it? New is good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, except the obvious.
Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
You weren't at
Cornelia's parents. Luxury vacation.
I noticed as I came in this morning that hot dog on a stick is hiring. You will look so cute in that hat.
Let's go, Mom.
Just drive the stake in his eyes. Just do it, Buffy.
This isn't over. If I have to, I'll go all the way to the mayor.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Mm-hmm. When times were simpler. Ooh! What the Ah! Couldn't be a mask from Toys R Us, could it? A zombie cat! Hi, Angel. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Is this going to be his role throughout the series? That's an annoying alarm.
I've been on the phone with the
Not gonna lie.
superintendent of schools. At least he seems more reasonable than that nasty little hard bigoted rodent man.
Mom.
Joyce!
Anyway, I'm going in to speak with him. Happy to have a superhero. Is that the right term? I mean, it's not offensive, is it?
I can't. Oh no! Oh no! 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 That kitty!
Welcome to the Hellmouth Petting Zoo.
No one cats bring dead birds and whatnot in the house. Well, look. Dead cats.
Shindig, dip, less mellow song stylings, perhaps a large amount of malt beverage, and hootenanny.
He shaved. I've just noticed that. No, Oz.
I hate Brie.
I know. It smells like Giles's cat.
It's not, Mike. What will we talk about at a gathering anyway? So, Buffy, did you meet any nice pimps on your travels? And, oh, by the by, thanks for ruining our lives.
Oh, here we go again, Xander.
Xander?
You know what I mean. Okay, so 1 vote from the old guy for a smelly cheese night, and how many votes for actual fun, huh?
Bloody hell.
All right, all right.
No one can
It's your
blame
way.
you if you would kill
I'm just
if you
glad
would
to
kill
have
him,
her home.
Giles.
Well, things can get back to normal.
He's turning the page. No, Giles.
Here I am. So we're cool.
Wait, that's why, with the party, because we're all glad you're back. Okay, good.
Go back to what Xander said in the library and Willow said. Simmer down. Jesus. So, and think of how many people have died at Sunnydale. Yeah, he would be way done. Holy.
I knew that if I could put my arms around her and tell her how much I loved her, everything would be okay. But
If
having
only
Buffy
that
help,
were
I thought it was going to make it all better, but
plaster to
in
our
some
problems.
ways, it's almost worse.
Oh, waffa. Oh, literally, it is The Walking Dead. Sunnydale edition.
Have anyone to talk to about all this scary life stuff.
I've never been alone. Oh.
And you were my best friend.
She said were as well, past tense.
Like my mask. Isn't it pretty? It raises the dead.
Oh, Jesus!
Mom's not perfect, okay? I handled it badly. But that doesn't give you the right to
So at
punish
least
me by
she
running
admits
away.
it.
You. I didn't do this to punish you.
Well, you did. You should have seen what you put her through.
Great,
Oh.
thanks. Anybody else want to weigh in here? How about you by the dip?
No thanks.
He just wants his
I'm
dip!
You know, maybe you don't want to hear it, Buffy, but taking off like you did was incredibly selfish and stupid.
Okay, I screwed up.
You can't just bury stuff, Buffy. It'll come right back up to get you.
I mean, both have their own points. No!
Like riding a bloody bicycle.
It should be distressing, but seeing
I shouldn't
Giles
have gone
worked
to
up
you,
is
Xander.
like
You
comical
made
for
your
some
feelings about
reason.
Angel and I perfectly clear.
Look, I'm sorry that your honey was a demon. You stop acting like an idiot, I'll stop annoying you.
You want to talk acting like an idiot?
Oh,
Nighthawk?
damn.
Okay,
This
gonna
is
step in
not
now,
great.
being
This
referee
is...
No, let him go, Oz. Talking about it isn't helping. We might as well try some violence.
Asking you shall receive. I don't like this fighting. It's hurting me. It's hurting me. Oh! I always watched Zombies and Buffy, to be fair. But, oh no! Destroy the mask or something! Burn it!
Don't they get in?
I kind of think we died.
As you
Cordelia's needs me.
How do we know it's really you and not Zombie Giles?
oh, for God's sake.
That's him.
I think the dead man's party's moved upstairs.
That makes sense. It's the mask in Joyce's bedroom they're after.
Eee! She saved Willow!
Hey, Pat.
I was gonna say, Pat's not woke anymore, is she?
You too.
what we want to see. No squabbling. Oh boy.
I thought I'd start with the state Supreme Court. You're powerful in local circles. I think I can make life very difficult for you.
Oh!
And Buffy will be allowed back in.
Come on, Giles!
Sorry. I'm not convinced.
You...
Would you like me to convince you?
Giles! Holy shit!
I mean, I can take my lumps for a while.
All right, I'll stop giving you a hard time. Run away.
Will,
I'm sorry.
Oof, oof.
Quitter.
whiner,
Baylor.
harpy,
Delinquent.
tramp,
Bad seed.
witch.
Cinnamon
Freak.
roll. Oh, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Buffy and Willow taking the mick out of each other. Adorable. But can we just talk about Giles? Like, just scaring the life out of Snyder there. He was ready to get the Ripper out there. Just the way he just slams him on the wall and then he smiles. Like, would you like me to convince you? Holy crap. That was good. That was a pretty good episode to follow from episode 1. And it had something that I wanted to see in Buffy, which was a zombie, well, not an apocalypse, but I mean, with a show about vampires, you're never gonna have like a season dedicated to, oh, we're gonna have a zombie apocalypse and whatnot, because it would take away from the Vampire Slayer, unless they would be vampire zombies and whatnot. So yeah, but I was always hoping we would have some kind of involvement with zombies. We kind of have in a sense, but nothing like an invasion, a small scale invasion, because it wasn't affecting everyone, like every household in Sunnydale. It was Joyce's house because it had the mask, and it was basically a race to get to the mask. Because they would become that demon, which was pretty neat. So yeah, that was a good developmental episode for the Scoobies and for Buffy and for what she's been going through. I really thought that was a good continuation from the first episode, as well as being able to see the reunions with Buffy and the Scoobies, and a more extended reunion of her mother. And it was also great to see things hit the fan, basically, with that argument, which, it was so good. It was so good, not just in terms of concepts, because both parties had a point of view, but also Sarah's acting was pretty well done in that scene as well. So I really appreciated that scene so much, where they were just arguing, and yeah, it was a bit atmospheric, wasn't it? Like, you had everyone who doesn't even know Buffy basically there listening to this squabble and listening to Buffy saying, mentioning demons and saying, like, oh, you found out who I really was, and they must be thinking, well, this is some good tea here. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting, because here's the thing, I feel like the zombie part was pretty great to see, like, utilized in Buffy, because like I said, I've always been a sucker to see that in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I don't think, I don't know, for me, it does feel like a good, a plot device to create this scenario that we have here, because I really felt like it didn't offer much. Yes, it was basically, for the most part, I guess zombies are, but like, there's usually a bit more depth. I feel there should be for zombies, but for the most part, it was basically like a pest infection or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, having loads of termites just invade your room. It was pretty annoying, like, if you were in the character's perspective, especially Giles, who was annoyed for more than just the zombie showing up. I would imagine, with the car keys being. Did he ever retrieve? He didn't ever retrieve those, so yikes. But I'll just turn this down because I'm glowing like an angel. Yeah, it was pretty much a because there's always going to be difficulty cramming a zombie uprise in like half an hour, um, and especially if like the mask they're after levels them up, that only got a few minutes. And when Pat placed the mask on, which was very reminiscent to Jim Carrey, wasn't it? Although that version was a way more tantalizing, but yeah, we didn't really get much from that leveled up demon. Yeah, that demon. We didn't really get too much of it. Like, all it just did was effectively stun people, and that was basically it until Buffy jabbed it in the eyes. So yeah, and if anything, it did prove to be a device to bring the gang back together, because like I said, it created this scenario, and they had to. It created this. Well, the scenario was them squabbling, and then zombies showed up. They fight them, kiss and make up happily ever after at the end, and then Buffy and Willow just trade shots at the end. So, yeah, but yeah, I felt like that was pretty much the case with the zombie inclusion. But yeah, going to that argument, because I wanted to talk so much about that when the chips were pushed into the were on the table. It was a tantalizing scene, like I said. And I can understand both parties. Buffy tells them like they cannot imagine the heartache that she went through, which is very, very true. Like, and I'll get on more about that, because brace yourselves. I am not happy with Willow after thinking things over. I am not happy with Willow. I know, it's shocking. She's my favorite character, but yeah, you gotta have your critiques. I mean, nothing can be perfect. But no, as I was saying, my knee. That's what I get for ragging on my favorite character. I can understand why Buffy was saying you cannot understand. And that's the thing with depression. It always feels like nothing's going to help and that nobody can comfort you. And you may make decisions based not on logic but on emotion, which is what Buffy did. Like, she decided, because this did work up the other party, which we'll get to in a minute. But Buffy needed some clarity. She needed to get away. She needed to get because she lost everything. She lost a place in school. She lost her home, because in her eyes, Joyce banned her from coming back into the house, and she lost Angel as well. So she lost everything, and she just needed to start anew. She couldn't spend another day in Sunnydale with what happened the day before. So yeah, and she was heartbroken. Like, her world was totally gone. It was gone. So yeah, but when you have the world lecturing you for being sad, you cannot help but feel angry. And I loved that so much with Sarah. Like, she was lashing out. She even lashed out at one of the guys, like, eating a dip. He was like... but I loved Sarah's portrayal of agony in this episode. It was really, really well done. Like, she was pissed because nobody could be there for her. And when she opened her arms, nobody... like, people were avoiding her, like Willow. So... and then she hears that bit of Joyce saying her being back made things worse, so it's eating her up there. So yeah, but you can understand the other side of the party as well, because they had their point. Like, it made people worry. It kind of implies that Xander did check up on Joyce every so often because she was upset. Like, even Pat said, like, Joyce was in a ray of despair when Buffy went. So, you can sympathize with the comment about what you did was because it had us all worked up. It was kind of wrong. And this is the thing, Buffy could have been dead. Not just that, though. Buffy could have been dead and they wouldn't have known, or she could have been in a sticky situation. She could have gotten raped. She could have taken drugs. Bad things could have happened and they couldn't do anything about it. Not just that, though, but Joyce said to that, and then this was her last words to Buffy as well. You're never, if you step out this house, you are never coming back in again. So what happens if Buffy did die? Joyce would have that eating her up inside for the rest of her life, and she's admitted to her wrongdoings, so which is really, really great. But it is understandable why everyone is a bit upset, because they feel like Buffy abandoned them, and they had no idea if Buffy was okay. And like I said, there was no telling if she would die or if she would even return. Like, it's not just the fact that bad things could have happened; it's the fact that there was that ambiguity of like, is Buffy going to return? Even Xander said it in the last episode. Like, he had that doubt, and Willow was the ray of sunshine saying she's going to come back. Joyce loves her daughter at the end of the day as well, so and she had all of this information thrown at her, so she was lost herself. So yeah, so you can understand both parties, I feel. So I really, really loved how, in my opinion, that scene was worked to create points of views which you could agree with both parties. So I really, really liked that so much. But as painful as it was to go through it, because we were like, no, don't go through this. It was realistic, and I feel like it doesn't neglect the emotions of everyone else. Like we could have had Buffy show up, and everyone's all happy and sunshine and rainbows, but we get to see the insides of everyone, like during those few months that Buffy was gone, and how heartbroken they felt, and a further insight on Joyce and how she was full of despair because of Buffy's absence. So I really, really liked that. But at the end of the day, I'm reminded of that quote in I Only Have Eyes for You. People need forgiveness. To forgive is an act of compassion, as Giles put it. And Buffy needed that. Like, they both had their wrongdoings, and they both had their own points of views, like their reasonings. And Buffy's in a lot of despair following, and she still is at this point. Like, you even saw her somber around her room. And she needs that open arm. She doesn't need Willow, for example, avoiding her. But yeah, I'm gonna go to Willow, because yeah. Gotta say though, I liked how Cordy did try to sympathize with Buffy as well. Her wording was a bit, but like, it's evident that she has grown as a character, so I really liked how she did sympathize with Buffy. But yeah, Willow. This is going to be interesting to see what the replies are in the comments, because to me, I felt like Willow was selfish. She was a bit selfish in this episode, because she felt alone like Buffy, and she had no one to turn to with her tampering of the supernatural, which is all well and good. She was a bit lost, and she's a cinnamon roll. But there was one part that, now that you think about it, it is a bit sketchy. And she was saying, I've been going through problems too. I'm dating and whatnot. When you compare that to Buffy stabbing Angel and sending him to hell, on top of the previous problems as well, that is pretty arrogant, because, like, I'm sure they've had their little squabbles, Oz and Willow. No couple is perfect. But to say that I'm dating a werewolf, in contrast to what Buffy has gone through, it's like that, argument where people, like, if people are sad, people make, and the other party makes it all about themselves. It's like that, in my opinion. So that's what I thought Willow was doing. Like, I'm dating a werewolf, and that was it, is a pretty big difference to I had to stab my boyfriend and send him to hell. So yeah, that was literally my gripe. Nothing else I feel with Willow. Just that was my gripe with Willow, and I feel like that had to be said. So you can crucify me as much as you want if you want to, but that's what I feel with that scene. So yeah, but the reunions were heartwarming, especially Giles and Buffy, which crushed my heart. Like, especially with Giles, before he offered them snacks, he had that look as if there was that relief because he lost Jenny and he lost Buffy, two of the most important people that were currently in Giles's life, arguably. And there's that relief that Buffy's back. So I take that as some kind of relief, as some kind of weight off your shoulder from Giles. So yeah. And speaking of Giles, how awesome was he in this episode? Like, we got to see the Snyder scenes, which were great. It makes you hate him even further, because he is a fun character to hate. But Giles in this episode was pretty hilarious. Like, when he was mocking the mask and he was mocking Americans. I really loved that. Oh, it's a pretty mask. Oh, yeah. And then his struggles in the car, as well as the whole when they were when Willow Cordelia was the foul stench, like Giles's cat, and he was like, "It's not my." Yeah. So I really, really loved Giles in this episode. I'm also interested in knowing, like, how did Joyce ignore the foul stench of the dead cat in the basement, but Oz picked it up? I guess it's that dog sense, isn't it? No, but yeah, that is pretty interesting. Like, surely that would have resonated throughout the house, because dead carcasses, nothing that smells of roses, is it? And it seems to insinuate that it's been dead for days, so yeah. Also, I'm very interested in, like, how she was okay with the party that went on downstairs, because we go back when she was the one that brought up the idea, why don't we just have Willow and Giles come over for dinner, and that'll be great. And then you have all these people, like some who don't even know Buffy, come, like you have the whole of Sunnydale just come over. So, like, did that not bug Joyce or something? I'm not so sure, but yeah, it was pretty great developing in terms of character. I really enjoyed, especially the arguments, especially the big one downstairs. It was pretty brutal, and it was pretty heartbreaking. But it was great that we had that establishment of points of view, like, you could see both sides. So it wasn't like one-sided. Both sides had their own points. So it was really great that they did that. But it was pretty emotional, and I really, really enjoyed that. I am very interested in if Angel is going to become because he is listed in the main cast for the intro, so I'm wondering if they're going to do something like they did with Doctor Who, where they had that, because they had one actress who was thought to be a main character. She died in episode 1 of Doctor Who, of one of the series, and people were like, "Oh, I thought she was going to appear regularly," but she did appear a bit every now and again, but as a hallucination. So I'm wondering if they're going to work the same way with Angel, like he's going to appear as a hallucination throughout the series, because that's twice he's been in a dream form for Buffy. So, and like I said, he's listed in the main cast. He's not like a recurring character. Because Seth Green's been bumped up to the main cast. So, yeah, but, and Oz got a shave! I like the beard. Yeah, that was a really good episode in terms of development for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So yeah, but I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!